Law student Bonri Tada dreams about when he was in the hospital. Meanwhile, the ghost of his past watches him. In the dream, Bonri had met with Linda, another law student, and was supposed to pass along a special message for her. But since Bonri's memory is fragmented, he doesn't quite remember all the details. Later, the festival club at their university needs to perform at the Awai Dance Festival. Everyone has a good time at the festival, but Coco becomes anxious and she tries to run, but is prevented by Linda. As the dance starts, the other club members leave Coco alone until Linda suggests that the club conducts a special dance for the first years. Suddenly, the group dances in a circle around Bonri and Coco, and feeling pressured, they join in the dance too. Afterward, Coco and Bonri enjoy the festival and prepare to watch the fireworks. Nearby, Ghost Bonri is saddened because he still loves Linda, and Bonri has rejected the feelings he left behind due to his memory loss. Ghost Bonri vows to become an evil spirit and curse Bonri with unhappiness. Suddenly, it starts raining, forcing Coco and Bonri to seek shelter. Later, Bonri learns that the festival club's camp has been cancelled, reflecting on how his summer plans have been disrupted. He waits by the elevator to surprise Coco, but when the doors open, it's Nana instead, who punches him and leaves. Coco arrives and pretends to cook yakisoba for him, but it turns out she brought pre-prepared food. Bonri catches on, and Coco admits it was a joke. During an evening walk, Coco confesses that her family's maid actually prepared the yakisoba. They sit in a park, discussing Coco's possible enrollment in culinary school and her family's upcoming trip to Barcelona. Coco tries to kiss Bonri, but he pulls away and walks off. Later, he wishes he could ask Coco not to go to Barcelona and stay with him, fearing she might leave him someday. Thereby, Ghost Bonri vows to make Bonri even unhappier. Later, Bonri's friend Nijijin calls him because he heard that Bonri has been feeling lonely. He suggests hanging out, but Bonri already has plans with Coco. They talk about wanting to spend time with their friend Mitsuo, who has been busy lately. Coco arrives and overhears their conversation. She's suspicious until Bonri hands her the phone, and she realizes it's Nijijin on the line. Coco becomes curious about Mitsuo possibly having a girlfriend, and devises a plan to find out who she is. She enlists Bonri and Nijijin to help. Their plan starts with watching Chanami's house, thinking she might be the girlfriend. Chanami catches them, and Bonri quickly explains they were just visiting. Surprisingly, Chanami invites them inside, revealing she's not in a relationship and hasn't seen Mitsuo since summer vacation began. She's living alone while finishing college, and Coco admits to feeling jealous of her independence. Chanami expresses her worries about living alone for the first time. They reaffirm their decision to go to the beach together. They head to the film club's hangout spot but notice Mitsuo and Linda walking in together, seemingly on a date. To give them privacy, they decide to go somewhere else. Later, Coco arrives at Chanami's house with swimsuits, and they try them on while discussing Coco's relationship with Bonri. Coco shares her concern about Bonri's resistance to physical intimacy, and her fear that he might leave her someday while searching for himself. Coco wishes they could spend more time together at Bonri's apartment. She questions whether Bonri truly loves her and worries about him disappearing. Coco then suggests that they wear school swimsuits to the beach and films themselves in those swimsuits. Later in Bonri's apartment, Mitsuo and Bonri discuss their swimwear choices, and Mitsuo wishes he could invite Linda. He wonders where her hometown is, and Bonri lies, claiming not to know. On the day of the beach trip, the group faces various problems during their journey. It all begins with Coco and Bonri meeting Nijijin at the wrong spot, causing some delays. They also experience delays when picking up Chanami and Mitsuo. Heavy traffic further slows down their exit from the city. Despite the weather forecast suggesting otherwise, it starts to rain when they arrive at the beach. Coco needs to use the restroom, so she gets out of the car in her swimsuit, and the others follow suit. Thankfully, the rain eventually stops, and they can enjoy their beach day. Nijijin feels really tired, so Coco takes the wheel for the ride back home. As they're driving, Bonri tries hard to stay awake, but ends up falling asleep. Not long after, Coco also gets tired and dozes off while driving. Just before the car starts veering out of control, Bonri wakes up and hits the brakes, bringing the car to a stop after it collides with the guardrail. The accident causes Chanami to get a bloody lip, damages the car's bumper, and messes up the guardrail. The police help them get back to the city. When they arrive, Coco's dad is really angry and slaps her. Unfortunately, their plan to go to Barcelona gets cancelled. The next day, Bonri, Mitsuo, Chanami, and Nijijin meet up to take responsibility for what happened. Bonri feels the most guilty because he couldn't keep Coco awake. He goes to Coco's house to talk to her, but she's still in bed and doesn't want to get up. The accident makes Coco realize she's been acting immature even though she's an adult. Bonri tells her that she needs to grow up but also stay true to herself. Coco shares a dream she had with Bonri where they were in a car, and when they were told to stop, she got out, and the car drove away. This makes her worry that if Bonri ever remembers his past, he'll fall in love with Linda again instead of her. Coco's dad comes into her room and tells Bonri to make some ramen while Coco goes back to bed. Bonri heads over to the Golden Time restaurant where the festival club is getting ready for a gathering during the fireworks extravaganza. The club members act strangely nice and welcoming, making Bonri feel uneasy. He realizes they are trying to comfort him after what they think is his breakup with Coco. However, when Coco arrives, they clear up the confusion but create a new misunderstanding with some former fourth-year members. Linda shows up late, and they discuss the accident. Bonri asks how she knew about it since she was out of town, but Linda gives a vague answer. Linda also mentions a class reunion, and Coco decides for Bonri that he'll attend. Coco and Bonri talk about how he's ready to confront his past, especially after their honest argument. Coco admits her love for Bonri has grown even more after their fight, and encourages him to go back home. The next day, Bonri is on a train heading home. Meanwhile, Tsunami invited Coco to help her unpack and reluctantly stays overnight. They talk about Coco's strong love for Bonri. In another place, at the club where Linda works, Mitsuo and Linda chat while she cleans. Mitsuo wonders if telling her about the accident was a mistake. He discovers that Linda will be away like Bonri, and notices her train tickets are for the same destination as Bonri's. When he playfully asks her about it, Linda gets upset and walks away. The following day, Nijijin, Coco, and Mitsuo enjoy a treat at a cafe. Mitsuo and Nijijin discuss their thoughts on Bonri's amnesia situation. Mitsuo tries to ask Coco about it, but she avoids the question and changes the topic, leaving Mitsuo to ponder what he's learned. Coco goes to Bonri's apartment by herself, and checks his mail because she misses him a lot. She throws a tantrum, sniffs Bonri's pillow, and tries to cheer herself up by acting silly. Nana catches her doing this and suggests that Coco could do this act during Nana's show, but Coco declines. Coco then playfully wrestles with Nana, trying to keep her from telling Bonri what she did in his room. Coco agrees to help Nana in another way, and Nana uses her as a test subject for a new idea in her act. Meanwhile, Linda and her brother show up at Bonri's house to go to a class reunion. During the drive, Linda notices that Bonri seems very nervous. At the high school, Bonri becomes so anxious about not having his memories that he freezes and won't move. Linda tricks him into entering the reunion. At the reunion, everyone wears either red or blue shirts with name tags for a dodgeball rematch. Bonri's team had previously beaten Linda's team on a disputed technicality. Linda uses the same technicality to win the game this time. At the party, Bonri's classmates warmly welcome him, despite him not remembering them. They share stories about the old Bonri, which embarrasses him. Their former teacher arrives and adds to the stories, making Bonri feel even more self-conscious. However, taking pictures with his former classmates helps him feel better. Later that night, Linda and Bonri talk on their way home. They discuss how Bonri has finally accepted his situation, despite the past tension between them. Linda has also come to terms with their situation. Bonri then takes a picture of the bridge where his accident happened, and has a vision of the accident. He tries to save the ghost Bonri, but fails, dropping and breaking his mirror. He wonders if his memories are starting to return. Bonri talks to a doctor about the incident with Ghost Bonri falling from the bridge. The doctor gives him a sedative, but there's not much else they can do. On the train ride back to Tokyo, Bonri thinks about why Ghost Bonri seems to have given up trying to take over his body. When Bonri returns to Tokyo, he remembers that his mother gave him her ring to give to his girlfriend. However, he gets distracted when Coco and the others meet him. That night, they have a welcome home dinner for Bonri, and he notices that Tsunami has cut her hair. Mitsuo then asks a favor from Coco and Bonri to film the festival club as a way to get closer to Linda. Later, Bonri and Mitsuo discuss their knowledge of Mitsuo and Linda's situation. But when Mitsuo confronts Bonri about his past with Linda, Bonri considers being honest but decides not to. Back at Bonri's apartment with just Bonri and Coco, Bonri apologizes to Coco for breaking their friendship mirror. He thinks about giving her his mother's ring, but doesn't get a chance. Coco gives him a piece of art she made and expresses her feelings. Although their plans for a romantic night don't go as expected, Coco realizes that Bonri truly loves her. Much later, Mitsuo gets permission to film the festival club, but Linda is unhappy about it. Mitsuo never gets a chance to talk to Linda as she avoids him. Linda indicates she wants to talk to Bonri, and Coco distracts Mitsuo. Linda and Bonri discuss Mitsuo coming to the club, and they eventually talk calmly. Linda reveals their dinners together, but also expresses her difficulty in accepting Mitsuo's interest in her, which led to their argument. After their conversation, Tsunami arrives and confronts Bonri about his closeness with Linda, believing it's inappropriate because Mitsuo likes Linda. When Bonri tries to explain, she becomes angry and walks away, leaving Bonri feeling dejected. Bonri catches up with Coco to talk about recent events. They discuss Tsunami and realize they're okay with their former crushes liking others. Bonri thinks about giving Coco his mother's ring, but realizes he forgot it. Back at his apartment, Bonri contemplates when and how to give the ring to Coco, and wonders who he can talk to about it. The next morning on the way to school, Bonri encounters Nana on the train. He tries to start a conversation but realizes she's not in the mood. She falls asleep on him. At school, Bonri, Coco, and Nijijin discuss Mitsuo's strategy for filming the festival club. Mitsuo and Tsunami arrive, and Tsunami convinces Coco to join her in getting Belgian chocolate. Bonri notices that Tsunami has been ignoring him since the previous night. Mitsuo, Nijijin, and Bonri discuss Mitsuo's lack of progress with Linda. They notice class is about to start and hurry away. After class, Bonri meets Coco, and they go to the Woodstock Cafe to discuss their future. They both appreciate the pleasant days they've been having lately. The next day at school, Bonri contemplates how to give Coco his mother's ring. The Tea Club girls discover his plan and make him nervous before trying to recruit him. Coco arrives, and they head to festival club practice. Bonri and Coco notice that fourth-year Kashino seems to be protecting Linda from Mitsuo. Later, at the train station, Bonri and Coco have a conversation. During the performance, Mitsuo focuses on filming the festival club, and Linda notices that Coco isn't nervous as she helps the fourth years. Bonri has a mental breakdown during the performance, and his past self resurfaces. He runs away, and Linda and Coco go after him. Linda finds him later, and they discuss what's happening to him. When Linda mentions Coco, his new self returns. But now Bonri fears that his old self might take over again. After the Away Dance Festival incident, Bonri worries about losing himself as his old memories start coming back. To comfort him, Coco arranges a dinner with their friends at his place, where he plans to share his background and recent troubles. However, things take a turn when Bonri tries to invite Tsunami, who's still upset with him but agrees to come anyway. Tsunami arrives early to have a serious conversation with Bonri before the others show up. She explains that she confronted Linda and demanded to know her relationship with Bonri. Nana interrupts her, and at first, Tsunami is frightened. But Linda diffuses the situation, surprising Tsunami by offering to listen to her problems. Tsunami confesses that she loves Mitsuo, and regrets rejecting him and changing her appearance by cutting her hair. She had hoped Mitsuo would notice her, and seeing Bonri being friendly with Linda made her feel relieved. She apologizes tearfully to Bonri for her earlier rudeness. After her emotional outburst, Tsunami asks Bonri to film her in her dejected state. Just as Bonri intends to share his past with Linda, his former self takes over, and he starts calling out for Linda. He abruptly leaves his apartment, telling Linda and the others not to inform Coco that his memories are returning, unaware that Tsunami's camera is still recording. The following morning, Coco refuses to accept the ring Bonri gave her, and decides to end their relationship. Shocked by Coco's words, Bonri waits for her at the place where she rejected him, hoping she might return. Hours pass, and he ends up meeting Coco's father, who offers him a ride home. During the drive, Coco's father mentions that she's aware of Bonri taking anti-anxiety medication, and had inquired about the reasons behind it. Later, Bonri runs into Nana and shares his recent troubles with her. Encouraged by her words, he plans to have a conversation with Coco the following day. The next day, Bonri meets Coco, who seems cheerful and apologizes for her actions the previous day. However, things take a sudden turn when Coco meets their friends, and casually announces that she and Bonri have broken up. This leaves Bonri and their friends in shock and confusion. When Mitsuo attempts to defend Bonri, Coco shuts him down, lashes out, and abruptly leaves. Tsunami informs Bonri that Coco might have seen a clip of his anxiety attack, and Bonri decides to stay optimistic. Later, Bonri shares the news of his breakup with Coco with Linda, and the festival club president. Linda reacts strongly, scolding Bonri for giving up on Coco. Their argument escalates, with Bonri blaming Linda for not meeting him at the bridge before his accident, causing tension between them. Linda reveals her guilt and wishes she could have told him her feelings, leading to a meltdown. Mitsuo arrives and learns about Bonri's past relationship with Linda. He's angry and hurt that Bonri didn't share this information with him, and Linda admits to being involved in keeping it a secret. As Coco appears and hands in her club resignation letter to the president, Bonri tries to intervene, but Mitsuo is left feeling betrayed by Bonri for not being upfront about his past with Linda. Bonri decides to have a talk with Coco. She explains that she wanted to resign from the festival club because Bonri seemed distant from her. Bonri then reveals that his memories from before his accident are coming back, and eventually, he'll lose the memories he's made since the accident. Coco admits she still loves him, but broke up because she couldn't bear the thought of him forgetting her. She asks Bonri to promise that if he remembers her, they'll stay together forever. Grateful for their time together, they agree to be friends, and Coco withdraws her club resignation. She makes Bonri promise not to forget her, and he agrees. Bonri attempts to mend his friendship with Mitsuo, who had been distant since learning about Bonri's past with Linda. Meanwhile, as their school festival approaches, Bonri's condition worsens, worrying Coco. Nijijin, feeling left out of their group's dynamics, plans to bring everyone together. While waiting for Coco and Mitsuo on the street, Bonri experiences another memory lapse and doesn't recognize them when they arrive. Panicking, he calls out for Linda. Luckily, Linda appears, and Bonri snaps out of it. Once he regains his composure, Bonri decides to return to his hometown, believing that his memories and former self will fully return. During the school festival, the festival club receives support from the private school committee thanks to Mitsuo. Bonri reconciles with Mitsuo, who tearfully expresses his understanding and support for Bonri's memory loss. During the Awa dance performance, Bonri reflects on how moments and feelings come and go. He acknowledges that he has returned to his former self, losing the memories he made since the accident. Bonri loses his recent memories and decides to go back to his hometown. He looks at the notes he wrote to himself before his old memories returned. While checking his email, he realizes someone has been sending messages to Coco using his name. Bonri and Linda seem to have a good friendship, and Linda spends Christmas with Bonri's family. He thinks about Linda's response to his feelings and all the events that have happened since his accident. Coco comes to visit Bonri at his home. At first, Bonri mistakes her for Chinami. She gives him a DVD and a mirror case, which he believes is hers, so he returns it to her. Coco asks for directions to the bridge where Bonri had his accident, and then leaves. Back inside, Bonri discovers Coco's unbroken mirror, realizing it's not his. Suddenly, all his memories of Coco come rushing back. He rushes after her to the bridge, where he meets his former self, who is upset but eventually accepts the situation. The former Bonri makes amends with the current Bonri, gives him a ring, and passes on. Bonri embraces Coco, and they recall their promise to stay together as long as they remember each other. They declare their love and exchange rings. It's revealed that Nijijin had been sending emails to Coco as Bonri to support him. Chinami edited a video Bonri made and asked Coco to give it to him. Bonri watches the video and thanks Coco for being by his side. Bonri returns to Tokyo, attends university with his friends, and maintains his relationship with Coco. Mitsuo and Linda flirt, and Bonri and Coco share a kiss, with Coco wearing the ring Bonri gave her. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.